Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out Where's America?
America.
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 Americas.
Americans.
Americanos.
American.
Americano.
A merry-go-round.
Amerigo Vespucci.
An Italian.
Welcome to Map Men.
We're the men.
And here's the map.
Map men, map men, map men.
The United States of America is a 5-word country.
States, United, the, and of are all self-explanatory, but the America part makes a lot less sense than you might think.
Oh, they've analyzed the title. The is a definitive article. United, joined together, states, territories with their own governments. Of, preposition expressing the relationship between a part and a whole. They're very thorough.
As we all know, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492.
And discovered is the right word because there definitely weren't people living there already.
And it was definitely him who discovered it, not the Chinese in 1421 or the Vikings around the year 1000. The China theory is heavily debated.
And it was definitely the United States of America he discovered in 1492, not some Caribbean islands.
Good to be clear.
But although Columbus
Right.
had reached a new world, he never reached the realization he'd reached it.
You thought he was in India, right?
He'd set out in search of an alternative route to the spices of the East Indies and wrongly thought he'd found one.
And so he named the Caribbean islands the West Indies because he'd sailed west to find them. Which is weird because if he thought about it and he had actually gone around the world and hit the East Indies, he'd have hit them on the east side. So he probably should have called them the East Indies. So if he
Yeah.
had been right, the West Indies would today be on the eastern side of the Indies, which is ridiculous.
But Columbus wasn't the only European who'd had a 15th century midlife crisis that involved buying a massive boat and sailing west until he'd come to terms with his own mortality.
Just 1 year after Columbus first reached the South American mainland, Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci got there second.
How old was Columbus when he did that? Oh, he was 41 years old. Just about. I guess that's midlife. That might be old age back then, I don't know.
But the crucial difference between Vespucci and Chris, as people in the voyaging business referred to him, is Vespucci did know he'd reached a brand new continent, and word soon spread of an exciting new world.
Okay.
Hear ye! There's a brand new continent we knew nothing about until now, full of gold and spices and exciting new vegetables!
People are just walking by him. He's actually screaming in public. That's pretty funny. Wow, so Christopher Columbus had no idea. He really thought he was in the East Indies, but why would he call it the West Indies?
Mapmakers around the world set to work creating new and up-to-date world maps, each with their own dreadful renderings of the increasingly but still not very discovered continent.
This one's pretty accurate on the East Coast. There's just no West Coast. Oh. Okay. It looks like I see Panama down here. This must be Mexico. Is that Florida right there? I mean, okay, but no, that's not it. Thumbs down on this one. This one's pretty good. That's not bad. Oh, okay. I mean, this one's bad. At least they have Florida.
One of these mapmakers was a German called Martin Waldseemüller, who in 1507 had all but finished his magnificent new world map. Except for one small detail: what to name the new continent everyone was talking about.
He very likely would have named it Columbia, after the widely agreed discoverer of the New World, Columbus. But Amerigo Vespucci had some very clever PR people who were falsifying documents and spreading lies about exactly when he'd reached the New World.
And these lies must have reached the ears of Martin Waldseemüller.
You're listening to the Vespucci Hour on Explorer FM.
Amerigo, he got there first.
Because he made the fateful decision to label the new continent America.
Latin for Amerigo.
Waldseemüller published his map complete with an unnecessarily long Latin title.
Complete map following of Ptolemy, the tradition, and of Amerigo Vespucci, of others, also the illustrations.
If you zoom into his map and look carefully, you can see the little word America in what we now call modern-day Brazil. It was the first time that made-up word had been used anywhere by anyone ever.
Nobody knows why Martin named it after Amerigo's fairly common first name rather than the Vespucci part.
Yeah.
It's a bit like if I discovered a continent and they named it Markland instead of the more enticing sounding Cooper World Jonesania.
One part of the new world that Martin clearly didn't give much thought to was this bit up here, which he drew super small and super inaccurate.
So it may surprise you to learn the inhabitants of this area were the people who, centuries later, cared the most about this map.
Fast forward 500 years to the 90s.
Hang on. Okay, they have a train spotting poster. Oh, what is that? Gladiators poster. I don't recognize the duck. They got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They got the haircut. They have the Tommy Hilfiger hat. They got a boombox. I see that boombox is more 80s, I think. No Spice Girls posters?
Throughout the 90s, the United States tried desperately to get their hands on Waldseemüller's map.
Because it contained
Really?
the first use of the word America, the US considered it to be their birth certificate, not minding that it had actually been given to a different baby since they had no qualms about swapping babies even though they were now grown adults.
At the time, Waldseemüller's map was sitting in a drawer in the private collection of Prince Johannes zu Waldburg-Wolfegg und Waldsee in Germany.
I love the labels on these drawers. Used batteries, elastic bands, old maps, dead birds. I definitely have the top two, but not the bottom two.
They wanted it so much they paid $10 million for it, making Waldseemüller's map by far the most expensive map in history.
In 2007, the map finally earned its wrongful place on display in the United States Library of Congress. How a library was able to raise $10 million, we can only guess.
So how come America got to name itself America? You'd think that writing the Latin word America on Latin America would mean America should describe Latin America. So why is non-Latin USA allowed its A at all?
Probably just like Amerigo Vespucci. Good PR, right?
Part of the reason is that they achieved independence before any of the other 34 American countries.
In 1776, the 13
Oh,
colonies
right.
that had been known as British America used their rifles to shotgun the name the United States of America.
Over time, the long name The United States of America got shortened to just America, which is how the English-speaking world almost exclusively refers to the United States today.
And
Right.
as you might expect, or if you're an American, as you might never have given any thought to, this annoys a lot of people.
Whom does it annoy?
First, Latin America. In the Spanish-speaking world, the word America on its own always refers to the entire continent, and never the country, which they call
Los Estados Unidos.
They even set up a petition demanding Los Estados stop stealing their name and get a new one right now.
With 308 signatures, it's surely only a matter of time before America concedes.
308 people signed the petition. I don't think we use the word America as the official name, do we? It's just like a short nickname. It's not on legal forms. My tax forms don't say America, they say the USA or FBI. What is it, IRS? I pay taxes to the FBI.
Canadians resent the USA arrogantly naming itself after their shared continent, but not as much as they resent being mistaken for Americans by people who can't tell their accents apart and confuse them with people who serve cheese out of a spray can.
Third, British people. Couldn't they just keep calling it British America? It had such a nice ring to it, if you're British.
Oh,
Fourth, Chris Columbus. If the Americans do insist on naming their continent after a European explorer, Columbus, lest we forget, was actually there before Amerigo Vespucci. As it is, Columbus had to settle
For the US capital, a province of Canada, another country, countless other towns and cities, and a national holiday. Poor guy.
right.
And lastly, Amerigo Vespucci himself, who died never knowing these new lands were to bear his name in so many confusing and overlapping ways.
So, if the United States of Americans did want to change their name, what on earth could they change it to? Any attempt at a rebrand would come with its own controversy, and
North Mexico. Hot Canada. The Republic Kingdom. The United States of Columbus. Accurate. The 50. Appalachia. Appalachia wouldn't be bad. Greater New England. Big Country, Fredonia, Worst Britain. Chad, too. Vespuccio. Chad, too? As in the country Chad? Atlantica. That's cool. Hourgram. Hourgram? I don't get it. Yourgram. What is that? Hourgram. Law and Order. Republic of Rodeo. Pacifica would be good. The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Who is Arthur Brown? He's a musician? Oh, it's the name of a band. Okay. The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Woking? Butter Dish? The United States of Subpar Railways. Ouch. USSR. That's good. North of America. Cooper World Jonesania, like you said before. Turtle Island. That's not bad. It does kind of look like a turtle. Bradley Walsh? Lincoln Land? The Incarcerators? The Incarcerators. That's accurate. Chad 3. Destiny Manifested. I like that one. So who is Bradley Walsh? I gotta look that up. Oh, he's an English actor. Okay. If he's English, he's probably a good actor then.
And, of course, it's hard to imagine patriotic Americans ever actually voting to be called anything else.
Even
Yeah.
though it appears that the US Library of Congress spent $10 million on a map that suggests its country gave itself the wrong name, it looks like the USA of America will go on calling itself America for many years to come.
Classic America.
Another wonderful MapMen video. I do remember learning in school that the word America came from Amerigo Vespucci's name, and that it was from a map. But I didn't remember that he had good PR. And that's why. He basically campaigned for it. Pretty smart. And it is fitting that this guy who had good PR, promotion, and was advertising himself, I think it's an appropriate nickname for our country. Amerigo Vespucci's good PR was a foreshadowing to modern-day America, advertising, scooping your competitor, propaganda. Shouldn't the country be called something like Aztecia or Inca land, Cherokee, Sioux land, Hopi land, Maya land, Mayandala, Maya? So many tribes of people lived here before Amerigo Vespucci came. Seems like it should be named for those people that were here first. There are so many tribes. Look at all that. Oh my gosh. It would be tough to find just one to describe them all. I've always loved the word Miccosukee. How about Miccosukee? The United States of Miccosukee? Or just straight up Miccosukee? Miccosukee. Miccosukee. Hello from Miccosukee. Isn't that fun to say? Hey, I'm going to Miccosukee. Miccosukee. I just flew in from Miccosukee. Hey, where are you from? I'm from Miccosukee. It's just fun to say. I vote for Miccosukee. Another great MapMen video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for recommending. And I'll see you next time. Later. Miccosukee.